Hi guys, it's Coach Stacy, and it's Nutrition Monday here at H45 Velocity Coaching, and I wanted to talk for a second on a topic that's actually really important, but I always want to keep it light and fun because I want you to hear it. I want you to know that you're not alone. Are you one of those people that when you go on this kick, this lifestyle choice kick of, okay, I'm going to eat what Coach Stacy calls useful foods, not useless. So not bad, not good. I hate the term good and bad, okay, because it insinuates things. And what I have found is that there are a lot of things tied to our behaviors when it surrounds what we eat and consume. There just is. And I think that you know that as well. And so I was curious if you feel that resistance coming in, but if you are able and good at identifying it. So with our H45 Velocity Coaching umbrella, we have introduced mindset in with the exercise and nutrition for good reason. So because mindset is absolutely going to be what comes into play when you're trying to battle, guess who? You. We're not really in competition with anyone else. It's you versus you. And there's a lot of what we would call traditions and culture and biases and just straight out misinformation surrounding what is healthy and what is not healthy to eat. And then to complicate matters more, it's actually not complicating it, but it can be complicated for us who don't understand it. Our genetics play a really big role into that. What we eat and how it absolutely, okay, have you ever taken a prescription for anything for the purpose of, I guess, getting better or addressing a dysfunction or an issue? Okay, it's the same thing with food. The minute you eat something, it's going to direct your body in how to respond. Are you increasing inflammation and dysfunction, or are you decreasing it? And so when we are approaching getting your power back and your choices, so we're handing you that power, we're getting you in that driver's seat so that you can choose well. Well, what do you need? You need right information, right? You need to be able to identify within yourself those things that are arising that kind of maybe, this is a strong word, hijack your emotions in regards to the choices that you're making, okay? And I always say it as a sense of, okay, while many things can back you into a corner, don't let it be you, okay? And so we want to stay in control of our choices and know why we're doing what we're doing, because that's the number one way we can start to change that and mold it differently. We got to know our top 3 goals and our priorities. We need to make sure that they're not conflicting and always competing with each other. So that's what our coach comes in. That's where I like to help be strategic in making sure that let's just make it happen, because I don't want you spinning your wheels and then getting frustrated, because what really is going to increase your motivation and your compliance to doing exactly what you say you want to do by choice, to be amazing and feel good in your own body and be better for all else that demands you and your attention. It's the exercise, nutrition, and your mindset, because they all play a central key role in how they respond to each other and building that base of you, that momentum forward that takes your actions that you're actually putting forth and building those new habits and building that lifestyle for yourself by choice. And it's going to actually come alongside those efforts and give you some momentum forward so that you're not just adopting these new habits and then constantly having them compromise to where you're going in circles, because that can get really discouraging. So I just wanted to bring up a few things. Now, it's my idea that we are trying to get you your power back. And the last thing I want to do is take that power from you. Okay, so we don't make excuses. We have to own us. We have to have ownership of our process on getting to our goal. We have to take ownership of our own mindset and what comes into play positively to help us reach that goal, but also what is setting us up for kind of like failure in that. Okay, we have to get good at identifying those things. And it's okay to be human. And sometimes it's not helpful to share that with others that aren't on that same journey as you, even if they are people that are close to you that you would think that you would have that support with. Sometimes when you bring something to somebody and it's overwhelming, they don't know how to respond like you need them to. Okay, so what we're going to do is instead use a coach and our resources here at H45 Velocity Coaching to help you with that. But you've got to speak up and you've got to not get stuck, and we've got to be open to the information. This has already gone on longer than I thought I should create a video for this, but I wanted to throw out some things that could also be hindering you. But I'm doing it not to add confusion or to complicate, but it's to just cover really quickly on how our daily choices in nutrition, mindset, how we deal with stress, just environmental factors, genetic factors, and lifestyle factors could absolutely be playing a big, huge role in kind of, not adding momentum to our efforts, okay? And I'm going to bring this up not so that we can create excuses, but so that we can realize, wow, so my choice in how I eat really does impact and speed up that change that I'm going to experience, or it could slow it down. And so my choice in that matter is really important. And I know we're all motivated differently, but I find, at least for myself and a lot of others, that just having that right information can be that aha moment where you're like, I get it. Now I know why I'm doing it. I'm not doing it because somebody said so. I'm not doing it because my neighbor does, or my spouse or significant other does, or my best friend and it works for them, so I'm going to just try it because I'm desperate. It gives you a sense of control, just having the facts to back your action up that says I'm doing the right thing and now I know why. And that sense of rebellion, to rebel against what you're just told without the understanding, is no longer there. And so it does absolutely start to give you your power back. And so let me just give you a few ideas. So a lot of people will use eating to, maybe when they're stressed, maybe when they get bored, anxiety, prolong a feeling of happiness and joy for a moment. Like that moment's like, oh, I just want to keep living and basking in this elation for a second. So I'm going to eat my favorite things and just enjoy it. And then I'll deal with the consequences later. And then even on the boredom, I would challenge that it's not just boredom in like life or the day or the moment, but it could even be boredom in, like, a lot of people when they go on their health and fitness goals will sit there and go to some grilled chicken and rice. Well, that would definitely get boring, and you do not have to eat like that to get the body that you want, okay? Your body just needs good nutrients that fuels it to be its best so that it can complete all those metabolic pathway processes that your body does inside that we don't even get to see. Now, if we were like a 90s phone, remember those 1990s phones that were clear and you could see the mechanisms and the gears inside? Well, we're probably glad that our body is not like that. But I think, and I know that some of you can feel that internal, it's not just proprioception. It's like some are skilled in knowing where their body's at and how you feel, and some just are like a little disconnected from that. But I would venture to say that that's not just a skill set. Sometimes it's also a sign of dysfunction. For an example, well, this is probably not a great example, but and I don't mean to scroll off, but like, have you ever been able to drink caffeine and then go right to sleep? If you can do that, because I used to be able to, and I was so proud of it. I was like, oh yeah. I thought somehow that made me like super tough or something. No, it's actually the number one sign that there's dysfunctions going on in your body, because caffeine is a stimulant and it should not allow you to go to sleep. And if you can go to sleep right after having caffeine, it's usually a sign that there's some dysfunction in that body. Speaking of which, I wanted to throw out there, okay, so we do have tools here to identify how your body responds to nutrition, possible supplements that you might want to take based on your genetics that would always give you better support to do life well. And there's the DNA kit that we do for that, for example. We also have an MTHFR testing kit as well to see if you have those two variants of the MTHFR gene. It's not like some life sentence. It's just with the right information, then you know how to eat in a way that allows you to be most successful in your health. And so I was going to also just touch on these things, okay? So I mentioned reasons why we often can consume foods in a not controlled fashion, okay? But let's start saying, okay, so if this is what can cause it, what are some of the things that trigger us to act upon it, okay? So, you know, what you're eating, the location that you're eating at can trigger memories of, like, positive memories or negative, and can affect the way that you might eat or the portion control that you choose, the distractions and what triggers you, and the associations and linkages that our brain has to these things absolutely can kind of direct our mindset a certain way. And I think to get more control, to get your power back on that, is to be able to just start to identify it. and be honest with yourself. You don't have to say it out loud, you don't have to tell everybody around you, but start identifying it. Maybe send yourself a text or a note on your phone so that you can kind of like journal and this bullet point. Where are you becoming most susceptible? When do you often lose control of the portions? When do you tend to gravitate towards eating a certain way? Or are you responding or to cravings internally, and it's not an external stimulus? Like maybe you're craving sugar, because that's also a sign of certain dysfunctions as well, okay, in the gut and things like that. So identifying those things is how we get our power back, because if you're just mindlessly moving forward and you don't know why this is happening, it's really hard to get control of it. And just being able to identify those things will be a step in the right direction to get that game changed for you. Now, I will also say, just like caffeine is a stimulant, like we said earlier, I wanted to just bring up supplements. A lot of supplements, over the counter, the energy drinks that you find even like at the gas stations, a lot of them include B vitamins. It sounds good. I'm usually for it as well. But you know what? Not all of those type of supplements are quality supplements. Number one, they can be synthetic and your body may not respond well to that genetically, based on the variants that you possess, like the COMT or the MTHFR mutations on the DNA. You don't have to know all that. We don't have to be at this level, because basically we're just trying to say, how do we take this information, identify that our body's responding this way, and then just make the changes necessary so that we can be healthy, right? Okay, so I have a free health assessment tool. I recommend that everybody take it every 90 days, because it will say to you how to personalize the supplements that you are taking. They're quality supplements also, so you know you're not getting synthetic vitamins. B vitamins are a stimulant, and they can definitely increase anxiety. And the reason I'm bringing that up is, okay, we got hormones occurring in your body that could be dysregulated. We've got anxiety that could be forming due to those dysregulations. Then we've got anxiety that often leads to weight management and other health issues. So it is completely a whole cyclical effect on and cascade of behavior inside that body and reactions. And so what we're trying to do is get you your power back on that. And so just being aware that you don't want to avoid B vitamins, you need them, but they should also come from the nutrition, like the food that you're eating and consuming. But you should also personalize your vitamins. I don't understand why we've ever just randomly taken a multivitamin and not even question its quality, and whether our body needs it or not. You don't just randomly take vitamins to tax your organs and just hope for the best. And then, why would you want to, like, okay, so we all know, right? Like, there's some water-soluble vitamins and fat-soluble vitamins, right? And so fat-soluble vitamins, you can actually create toxicity if you have too much of them. Water-soluble, you're just going to pee it out. You're going to know because your pee's going to be bright yellow. But why would you want to pay for these supplements and then just pee out what you don't need? That doesn't make sense. And so let's get more precise on what we're taking, with a little bit of help from a tool that was created by a really smart doctor. It's free. It doesn't force you to order. You do not have to be a member to use this tool of mine. You probably will want to you do need to create a profile for yourself, because it will save your assessment and then you can use it to order from if you choose. But there's also links on there. There's just the word why. It's a link. Click on those whys on each supplement that it recommends that you need right now for support for your body. And then it will kind of tell you, based on what information you gave it in the assessment, why it's recommending it. I find that really helpful, because I like to advocate for my health, and I like to know why, because if you know why it's recommending it, you know what it's bringing up as far as what it's identifying to correct. And if you know that, you can better advocate for your own health and body in the future as well. Information matters. Accuracy matters. The facts matter. Okay, so we're trying to take some of the emotion out of why we eat what we eat, and we're trying to add some just facts in there and give you a tool that helps you get really precise on personalizing any supplement to you, so that you only have what you need and not what you don't. Okay, and so there's also I just wanted to bring up just quick, I feel like this is already going really too long, and I wanted to keep it hopefully under 15 minutes. Anyways, so where can we get our power back in not overeating or not eating useless foods. I would say the same things that I said earlier. The linkages and the associations that we make to foods can definitely put us into a double bind where we're like, okay, I really want this, but now I've got to say, what will it do to my goal? Okay, so that's a double bind. So you need to know, what if I don't change what I'm doing, what will happen? And then, because I desperately want to change what I'm doing, because I have a goal and I know I'm strong enough to reach it, I am going to have a plan, okay, with my coach, some accountability, and then I'm going to start maybe tracking my food, so that I actually have to say, if I eat this, I have to type it in, and then I have to let my coach see it. There's a little bit more accountability, and there's this question that goes on that says, is it worth it? Okay, if it is, it's fine, life in balance. But it's going to at least have you ask that question. Another question I would like to have you ask yourself is, am I, the validity of your hunger or craving? Are you really hungry, or are you just thirsty, or are you bored, or is there increased anxiety at the moment? Are you stressed out when you're wanting and craving that food? Are you super joyful and happy, and are you just trying to extend that? So just start asking those questions and see what the answers are. Honestly, don't reason them out. Just be honest with yourself, okay? We don't ever lie to ourselves, okay? So let's delay. Before you just consume, delay long enough to identify, okay? Honor portion control. Eat a smaller portion that's reasonable, and then pause before you eat more, and then see if you're actually really hungry or not. Because some of us genetically don't always know when we are full. There's also some dysfunctions that can cause imbalances in knowing when you're full and when you're not also. I would always assert that we should have a variety of nutrients. Vegetables, spices, herbs, they all have nutrients in them that have benefits for us. And so you want a variety of nutrients to keep your body healthy, okay? And so always seek support and resources, like getting a coach in your corner, H45 Velocity Coaching, where we get our power back in exercise, nutrition, and mindset. We want to have resources like that in our life that understand the journey and that will help us move forward to gain momentum with our efforts. Do not skip meals. I know some of you like to do intermittent fasting, and some people do really successful with it. And there certainly are some health benefits to it. However, if you find that you binge eat after you go a prolonged period of time with intermittent fasting, I would venture to say, I'm not saying this is the case, I would just have to ask, I wonder if genetically you have some genetics involved that influence that. Because there are people genetically that are more prone to binge eating, especially when they create a situation where they have fasted for a prolonged period of time. And if that's the case, then it's no longer effective. So stop doing it. We can help create a program where you eat throughout the day and avoid the binge eating, which is counterproductive. So we got to get our power back in our choices. You choose what you do. Do not allow a substance, a food, a sugar, a chocolate, anything, a texture, a temperature of food, an environment, a location, music, people, misinformation, bias, whatever it is that's influencing that brain of yours. Guys, you're in control, and you get to choose what you do next. Okay? I'm going to give you your power back on that. It's called HITAFAT. It's an acronym. How do I feel about that? That will get you in a little bit deeper to see how you're reacting to all those things I just listed, and perhaps identify again before we take action why we're doing what we're doing. And over time, you're going to get stronger. You're going to learn about you and your own body and your own mindset, and we're going to keep leveling it up so that when you do reach that goal, you'll know exactly what to do when you're there. Do you know I've had people reach goals and they're like, well, now what? I went all out to reach this goal, but now that I've reached the goal, now what's my motivation? So we don't want that to happen either. So let's keep leveling that mindset up. So when you do reach that goal, you'll know exactly what your next is. So meal, snack, plan, and prep. If you have snacks and meals already prepped, especially on busy days, look at your calendar on Sunday night, know what's ahead for the week, and see those pitfalls and be prepared for it. So that way you have readily available nutrition, useful calories. Okay? Lifestyle. You get to build it. But the idea is that we don't want to just build it in confusion. You've got to know what that vision is. You got to know your top 3 goals, and you've got to have a plan to get there. So that way you can get there, okay? We're not just spinning in circles in confusion. Sometimes we have to track it to see it. Now, I'm just like you. I don't like another thing to do, so I don't always like tracking food myself, and I don't do it all the time. I do it when I veer off and I can't figure out why. When my body's no longer responding like it should. Usually, if you'll just track your food for at least 3 days, show it to me, let us look at it together, we can identify where we are gaining some calories that we didn't foresee, that we thought were okay, but we've just gone off balance, okay? Or we all will actually identify something else that's going on, like perhaps maybe you've come into something in the environment that's created a dysfunction in that body, or you've encountered some stress, and we've got some hormonal imbalances and things like that going on, and we can just simply do what we need to address those things instead to get our power back. Share it with your coach. Drink water. Sometimes we eat when we're just dehydrated, so drink water, stay hydrated. It'll help your metabolism anyways and help you detox that body. And almost every process in the body does better when you're hydrated. Our body is an electrical system, that central nervous system. Water conducts electricity. We function better when we are hydrated. Do limit eating after 8 p.m. I know there's second shift workers, third shift workers, and things like that, so that definitely changes the game, of course. But ideally, we don't want to eat after dinner. If for some reason you choose to, I would often say default to a healthy, clean protein. However, there is a genetic variant or codes that I would recommend eating a fruit instead. That's not for everybody, so that's why you should get a coach in your corner and let me help you with that. Guys, I hope this information was helpful today. It did run a little bit long, but I hope it gave you some momentum to your efforts and showed you that there is a lot at play that can kind of regulate how we function. Sometimes we have a dysfunction in an organ or a metabolic pathway that's leading to that hormonal dysfunction, that's leading to that anxiety, that's leading to that weight management issue and that health issue. And so the idea is guys, your nutrition and choices matter. But if you want to get your mindset right, and you want to get your body healthy and right, you want to get the activity right and your nutrition right, it's an all-encompassing thing where they all 3 kind of like come together and give you momentum forward. And just doing one of them well will always kind of keep you behind that game, if that makes sense. We want to get you out in front where you feel like you are leading your own life and life isn't kind of like dragging you around. So I hope this helps you get your power back today. I would love for you to join us if you're ready to take action in exercise, nutrition, and mindset, and you just feel like you need a coach for accountability and some peers that are understanding that process, they're willing to do it with you for influence. But although I will say, we have a lot of introverted people that are a part of our virtual fitness club, and that doesn't surprise me at all. We are virtual. You can do this in the convenience and comfortability of your own home. And while we know that challenge is what levels us up, sometimes being comfortable enough to embrace that challenge matters also. So enjoy your virtual fitness club. Technology makes this possible to connect you and I and you with your H45 Velocity Coaching peers. Guys, have an amazing rest of your day, and I hope that you get your power back on that plate in your nutrition, because it is a big part in how healthy that body feels and how you experience your weight loss goals and fitness. So, fist bumps. See you again next time.